Hi there. This video is an exam paper walkthrough of the Eduqas GCSE Mathematics Higher Tier Component 1 paper from autumn 2023. This paper is worth 120 marks in total, and this is the fourth video of 6. It will focus on questions 17 to 20, which account for 22 of these marks. Eduqas Component 1 papers are non-calculator papers, so a calculator should not be used. A little disclaimer: there may be more than one way to answer a question. The methods shown in this video are not the only way some mathematical skills can be applied. Okay, let's get started. (17a). Evaluate 8 to the power of 5 over 3. So evaluate means we want a numerical answer. We've got a fractional power here, so remember the bottom of the fraction is the root, the top of the fraction is the power, and we deal with the bottom first, that denominator first. So that we're going to start by taking the cube root of 8. Well, the cube root of 8 is 2. We're now going to raise that 2 to the power of 5. So 2 to the power of 5 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So that's 4, 8, 16, 32. So 32 is our answer there, guys. Part B, write 6 divided by root 2 in the form a root 2 where a is an integer. So we're going to rationalise this denominator. So we've got 6 over root 2 and we're going to multiply top and bottom by root 2. So the top becomes 6 root 2 and the bottom becomes root 4. Root 2 root 2 multiplied by root 2 is root 4. So we have 6 root 2 over 2 because root 4 is 2. Now I can simplify this, which is good because I don't want it as a fraction and I want a to be an integer. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, so this becomes 3 root 2. I am so sorry if you can hear my dog snoring in the background. There's not a lot I can do about that, guys. He's too cute to kick out. Okay, part C. Estimate the value of this sum and write your answer in standard form. So the good thing about estimation questions are we can round everything to one significant figure to make our lives easier. So 1.96 I'm going to round to 2. 6.89 I'm going to round to 7. And then 298 I'm going to round to 300. So we're now adding these two numbers that are in standard form. Fortunately, we've got the same power of 10, so we can add the two numbers. So 7 plus 2 is 9 and write it to the power of 8. But what I am going to do here, guys, is I'm going to convert 300 into standard form. So that would be 3 times 10 to the power of 2. Now we're going to carry out this calculation. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 10 to the power of 8 divided by 10 to the power of 2. Well, the law of division tells us if the base number is same, we can simply subtract the powers. So 10 to the power of 8 subtract 2 is 10 to the power of 6. Let's check that our answer's in standard form. This first number needs to be between 1 and 10. Good, and we need to have it multiplied by a power of 10. Question 18. Lena sold 200 drinks on Saturday. This table shows some information about these drinks. So we've got tea, coffee, milkshake, and then the totals column, and then small, medium or large, so the size of the drink, and then the totals row. So on that Saturday, 15% of the drinks sold were large teas. Okay, so 15% of 200 are large teas. So let's find 15% of 200. So 10% of 200, we divide by 10, which is 20. We want 15%, so we're going to need another 5%. But once we know 10%, we can half that to get 5%. So that's a total of 30 large teas. Okay, so we're going to go to teas large, and we're going to fill in 30. The next statement, the ratio of the number of medium teas, so medium teas to medium milkshakes, was 3 to 1. Okay, so medium milkshakes, medium teas in the ratio 3 to 1. Well, we know that medium milkshakes is 6. So let's pop that in the right place on the ratio here. Now we would scale up in a ratio to get from 1 to 6. We've multiplied by 6. So So I'm going to do the same here. So medium T's are 18. So I'm going to fill in medium T there as 18. So that's that statement done. And then the next one, the number of large milkshakes sold was double the number of small milkshakes sold. So large milkshakes is double the number of small. So if small's X, this is 2X. I'm just going to leave that like that for now because I don't have any other information to work with. It says complete the table above using this information. And then it's asking us some more about probability. So let's complete the table to start off with. So we can complete this total column. 5 plus 18 is 23, plus 30 is 53. Wonderful. We can complete the totals of coffee now, because we have these two values. We're going to take them away from 200. So 53 plus 66 is 119. 200, take away 119 is 81. So total of coffee is 81. Now let's see what else we have that we can work with. We're now going to work with the fact that the number of large milkshakes sold is double the number of small, because if we take the medium milkshakes away from 66, so 66 take away 6 equals 60, and then if we divide 60 by 3, that means there must be 20 small milkshakes and 40 large milkshakes. So now we can do the totals here. So 30 plus 42 is 72, plus 40, 112. We can find that missing total. So 112 plus 61, 173, 200 take away 173, 7, 2, so that would be 27. 27 take away 6 is 21. Take away 18, this must be 3. 42 plus 3 is 45. So 81 take away 45. 36. Have we filled it all in? Fantastic. Now let's look at the last part of the question. One of the drinks is selected at random, so it's not given us any other criteria than one of the drinks. So we're dealing with a total out of those 200 drinks that were sold. Find the probability that this drink was either a medium tea or a medium coffee. So medium tea, there's 18. Medium coffee, there's 3. So that's 21 out of 200. So I'm going to write 21 out of 200 on my answer line. Question 19. 1134 can be written as 2 multiplied by 3 to the power of 4 multiplied by 7. Part A, find the highest common factor of 504 and 1134. Give your answer as an integer. So they've already written 1134 as a product of prime factors. I'm going to do the same to 504. So I'm going to use a prime factor tree. So I'm going to do 2 multiplied by 252. 2 is circled because it's prime. I'm now going to do 2 multiplied by 126. 2 multiplied by 63. 3 by 21. And then 3 by 7. Okay, so I'm going to write 504 as 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 7, and then I'm going to write 1134 as a product of primes, but I'm going to expand any powers, because for the highest common factor I'm interested in what they have in common, so what factors they have in common, prime factors in particular. So they have 2 in common, 3 in common, 3 in common and 7 in common. I can't match any of the others up in pairs across both numbers. So the highest common factor is the numbers they have in common multiplied together. So 2 multiplied by 3, multiplied by 3, multiplied by 7. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. 6 multiplied by 3 is 18. And then 7 multiplied by 18, well, 7 times 10 is 70. 8 times 7 is 56. So that's 126. Part B. What is the smallest whole number 1134 can be divided by to give a square number? So I'm going to write 1134 down here in its prime factor form from the beginning. So 2 multiplied by 3 to the power 4 multiplied by 7. Okay, so for a number to be a square number, when it's written in index form, all powers need to be even. And because we're trying to find the smallest whole number that we can divide it by to make a square number, we're trying to take numbers out of this. So if I take out the prime factors 2 and 7, that leaves me with 3 to the power of 4. It's got an even power, so that's a square number. Okay, 2 to the power of 7 is 14. So 14 is the smallest whole number that 1134 can be divided by to give a square number. Question 20. X, Y and Z are points on the circumference of a circle with centre O. So X, Y, Z, centre O, and this is the circle. The diagram's not drawn to scale, so we can't measure anything accurately from that diagram. Maya thinks that XYZ is 58 degrees, so the angle XYZ. So Maya thinks that this angle in here is 58 degrees. The question asks us to prove that Maya is incorrect. We must show all our working and give reasons for each step of the proof. Okay, so there's two ways you can go about this. You can start with 58 and work backwards to match it up to this angle to prove that she's wrong because it won't match, or you can work your way towards finding that angle. I'm going to work my way towards finding that angle and then compare it with what Maya thinks. So the first thing I'm going to do, we're working with circle theorems and angle facts here, guys. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work with this small triangle here, okay? Now, OZ and OX are both radii, so they're both exactly the same size. They go from the centre to the circumference of the circle. So this tells me that this triangle I've highlighted yellow is isosceles. Isosceles triangles have special properties, and that property is, well, one of the properties is that the base angles are equal. So this must be 34 degrees, but I've got to show working and give reasons for each step. So I need to write my reason. So base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal, so angle OXZ is equal to 34 degrees. Now I can find this angle, still working with the yellow triangle and using angles in a triangle. So angles in a triangle sum to 180 degrees. So angle XOZ is equal to 180 subtract 34 subtract 34, which is 180 subtract 68, which is 112 degrees. So that's 112 degrees. Now I'm going to use a circle theorem. So I'm going to use a circle theorem using this arrowhead shape. And now this particular circle theorem doesn't always appear as an arrowhead, but it's not, oh, I'm not very good at drawing lines, but it's nice that it does on this instance. So this circle theorem is the angle at the centre. So the angle at the centre here is twice the angle at the circumference. So I'm going to write that down. Angle at the centre is twice the angle at the circumference. So XYZ, angle XYZ is equal to 112 divided by 2, which is 56 degrees. Okay, so I've got a different answer to Maya. Maya thinks it's 58. They wanted me to prove that she was incorrect. I've done that. I've given reasons for each step. I've told them what the correct answer is. But I'm going to finish it off by saying, so Maya is incorrect. Don't worry about your spelling. As long as the examiners know what the word you're writing is trying to say, you'll be absolutely fine. But we do need to write those reasons down. Otherwise, you're going to lose 1, potentially 2 marks out of the 4, guys, if you just do the math